Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Rooted in Faith, where we navigate life intentionally, grounded in faith, inspired by culture, and strengthened by sisterhood. I'm your co-host, Theresa.
I'm your co-host, Awa. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. Today, we'll be talking about Qur'an, reflecting upon, connecting to it, sharing with you guys some of our personal favorites and recommendations.
Yeah, I'm excited. We are already, 3 weeks into Ramadan?
Fast, as always.
Yes, it's going by fast, but we want to make sure we're really highlighting the importance of this month as well.
Yeah.
The big thing in this month, I know, is strengthening your connection to the Quran in general.
And this month was the month of the revelation, so that should be everyone's priority. For sure, is understanding and connecting with Quran.
Yeah, and that looks different in so many different ways. That might look like reading the whole Quran, during this month, if you can truly understand and connect with it. But also that could look like, pondering and reflecting on just one verse that you really love and connect to. And we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that. So let's get into it.
Definitely. The Quran is something that, of course, being born into Islam, you kind of learn about it. Of course, you go to Quran school, you learn the basics, the alphabets of Arabic and all that. But I don't think, for me, most of my childhood, I didn't understand the Quran. You memorize all the verses, of course, Fatiha, all the short ones. Yeah. You grow up just, learning how to say it, memorizing it, but it didn't click to me, even Fatiha. Like, what we say all the time, what are we even saying? And so,
I'm still practicing and learning it now.
To understand, what you're saying is a game changer. So I would say that is the biggest evolution of the Quran, going from just memorizing it as a kid to now understanding and trying to seek the meaning in a language that I truly understand. Yeah.
Well, I think that's good. And I think for me, of course, my first connections to the Quran was when I, started doing research on it. And I remember reading, just the whole translation of the Quran. And I think what drew me closest was reading the stories of the prophets, being able to connect with these different people in the book and being like, okay, like they've gone through these certain struggles and I can relate, although it's not on the same scale, but like I can relate to the kind of the morals and the principles of the stories that are being told in the Quran. So that's kind of how I think I apply it to my life and really let it like sink in. And, right now I'm in the process of trying to actually learn, pick up on Arabic and read the actual Quran, like in Arabic as well. I feel like even if you don't understand it, like there's just something about hearing the Quran or reading it in the language that's like just hits different. But also like to your point, like actually getting to understand, okay, what is it that I'm actually saying? What do these things mean? So,
No, I think that's so important, and that leads as a great segue for us to talk about our favorite verses and surahs and what we take from it in our daily lives. So I'll go ahead and start. I wanted to definitely highlight my favorite surah being Surah Al-Rahman. I know Theresa also likes
my
that
favorite too. On repeat. Okay.
I would say a lot of Muslims say that is their favorite surah. It's a popular favorite among people, and I know a lot of people like surahs because of the way that they sound as well. And I definitely like the way they sound because it's repetitive. Yeah. And I listen to it. I listen to the English translation as well. And the main thing that keep repeating is, which are the favorites of your Lord will you deny? Yeah. And I think that, of course, Rahman is also one of Allah's names. And it just means the most merciful. So it's something that you can say in dua. And just hearing that verse, you can say, your Lord, like, I don't deny any of your favorites. Like, it just keeps me being grateful.
There's so much comfort. I don't know. I just feel like I'm being covered in a blanket.
Literally, but not even that. It just keeps me just like reflecting, wow, like what favors has he like given me? Like, it just keeps me mindful about the things that he has done for me in my life.
Yeah. No, I think the one thing that drew me to this surah, even before like actually understanding the meaning, like you said, was just like how I was like, wait, they saying the same thing. It's kind of like it really reminded me of like poetry, and I love poetry, and I love
catchy.
And I was like, wait a second, like I see a pattern here. Like they keep repeating that after, kind of just listing and telling us like all of these like favors and blessings of Allah. And I'm like, wait a second, like I really resonate with that, and I really love that. So that's on repeat for me 100%. I would say one of my tops after that would definitely be Ayatul Kursi. I think that's definitely, I think that should be top
A
in
very important one.
everyday life. It is known to be the most powerful verse in the Quran as well, from Surah Al-Baqarah. So this is also referred to as the verse of the throne. And so I think, I don't know, there's just so much power and meaning behind Surah. It really just describes like how powerful Allah is and how he's able to really just protect and cover us, whether it is you're, leaving your home and, you're going to bed at night. Like after, it's also recommended to, recite the surah after each prayer and things like that. It just brings so much protection and like just coverage throughout the day. And I think it's just, I don't know, I like it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite ayahs for sure. It's like you said, everything is very important. It's beautiful. So love that. I want to go into the next surah that I think is very important for every Muslim. Of course, is Surah Al-Kahf.
Yeah.
That is something that is recommended. It's sunnah to recite it and read it every Friday.
Yeah.
And the fact that it makes you wonder why. Why should we read it every Friday? So yes, you can recite it, but if it's recommended for you to read every Friday, I think everyone should be trying to seek the meaning of it. What is it being told? And from my knowledge, it has 4 main stories, and I'll just highlight the one that I am familiar with the most is the story about Musa. In that one, he's tested with patience. He goes on a journey where he doesn't know much, and he keeps questioning a lot of things, and he keeps asking questions, and that just shows you the type of surrendering that you need to do to be in this dunya, is to realize that you will not understand everything. And if Musa had to struggle, the prophet, Allah didn't give him all the knowledge and the wisdom. Don't think that you have to understand everything. It's okay. That's a part of being a Muslim, is submitting and understanding like only Allah knows. If he didn't give the prophet all the knowledge, and it's showing you a story where even he had to have patience and trust in Allah's plan, it just shows me, and that's how I apply it to my life, is to always just trust in his plan. And
if there's one thing that's been the top theme of my life and like just our journey overall, is that specifically like just trusting in Allah's plan. And I think that's part of why it is so important to really seek the understanding of what we are, told is best for us. And even just during the month of Ramadan, like really get to understand, okay, why is it that we fast? Or why is it that we are told to read the Quran, or why is it that these things are sunnah? And, just really getting an understanding. And it kind of goes back to you also speaking about your upbringing as a born Muslim and having to kind of learn certain things on your own. You kind of have to really, okay, we know this is good for us and we know, but like why? And I think it's a game changer once you can actually internally be like, okay, like I fully feel and understand why this is beneficial for me and why I'm doing it and having intention behind it, versus just, okay, this is just a routine thing. Like I do this every Friday. I do this. But if there's no intention and like pure meaning behind it, then, I mean, obviously keep doing it. But,
I would just say, add to your point about seeking the why. And I think what is a problem or struggle that a lot of us face with is the scary part of that is actually knowing. Because, a lot of people would think, some people think ignorance is bliss. And it's once you actually are seeking the meaning of things, it's like now you know better, or now you know. So I think there is a scary side of like actually like seeking the why you're doing it. A lot of people, because also with Islam, it's beautiful because when you are making a mistake or doing something that you didn't know, it doesn't count against you because you didn't know. But once you do know, it counts.
But don't intentionally just not know.
That's just like I just wanted to highlight the opposite side of what probably makes people not think about seeking why, because they're probably just, if you're scared of actually knowing it's okay, it's going to be more beneficial to you, then ignorance is not bliss. You should be seeking why. So I think that's just a point that I wanted to highlight.
I think one thing that I think most people also like, the reason why most people shy away a lot of the times is because a lot of time once you finally know better, you have to do better. You have to do better afterwards. And you have to hold yourself accountable now. Like now you know, and like now you kind of have to just, okay, now these are the steps that I have to do to change. A lot of people are scared of change and like changing their habits and their ways. But, it comes with, struggle and hardship, but like, it's just something we all have to go through, and we have to go through it in order to elevate and grow in strength, you have to give up old habits.
Yes.
Like you have to give up some of the people that you're around, or you have to sacrifice, literally.
Big theme in Islam, sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like
we have to, sacrificing, food during the day and nourishment, all for the sake of Allah and all for just like surrendering and giving him thanks, So that's I think that's the most beautiful part, I think, of Ramadan in general. It's just that ability to say that, okay, like these are things that I can easily have. Obviously not everybody can, but I have food every day, I have drink and stuff, but I'm choosing to let go and surrender of this and pick up these additional new habits or these, things that I'm striving to learn more about for your sake. And so I think that's one thing that a majority of us should definitely keep in mind.
We want to just go ahead and give you guys in this episode practical tips, advice, and recommendations, because it's easy to talk. It's easier to talk about it and to do, like what people say, it's easier said than done. So we want to actually give examples, and I'll start off by showing you guys the things that I use to help me connect. And the first one, I would say, I don't know if this will focus. Like, this one is a new one that I got from Eternal products, and they have really, really good journals and stuff. They have a really good Ramadan journal too. But this is their Quranic dua journal, and this one is just mainly explaining like the breaking down of because there are specific duas like from the Quran. Like you can just literally take it out of the Quran. So this like highlights that and gives you a QR code for you to like pronunciation, like how to actually say it, the background of the story, like how the prophets used it. So you understand what state of mind you need to be in. And
I might need to borrow that.
Yeah, I highly recommend this
Love
one.
that.
Another one would be this Quran journaling book. This one, I think I bought off Amazon, but you can definitely have a digital one. I know they have like different templates on Etsy and stuff. But this one is just another thing that I highly recommend for connecting to the Quran and stuff. I don't know if they can really see it, but you basically just go in and you can go on YouTube and search up tafsir videos, and that's like just a breakdown of a scholar explaining what the surahs mean. That way you're not like just interpreting yourself, because if you're not a scholar too, you don't want to interpret the Quran the wrong way. So of course take the lessons from it, but also actually seek what the scholars are saying about it, and you can just write your reflections on it, and it's just a fun way to connect and take notes on the Quran. And then my last recommendation would be this book here that is beat up, but it is such a beautiful book, and I recommend it to all my friends.
I still need to get mine.
If you know me, you've heard me talk about this translation at least once. It's called The Majestic Quran, translated by, I might say this wrong, but Mushri Hassan. And it's an English translation, but it reads like a chapter book. Like if you're a reader and you like reading for like leisure like me, like it's actually very easy to read. Like it's more, because like the other translations, it's sounding like that older English. Like it's definitely more modern, but definitely still goes into depth and keeps like the same concepts and stuff that are in other translations. So I would really, really highly recommend this translation.
So I have this one book. I actually got it from a Barnes and Nobles, a local Barnes and Nobles, and it is called Shukur, if you guys can see. And it's basically an inspirational dua and gratitude journal for women. And each page, it goes through tips. It has like different tips for making dua. So, of course, I know a lot of people, and I know even for myself, like sometimes there's so much that we can pray for. There's so many things to pray for. And sometimes it's hard to kind of get down to, okay, like how do I really make this dua? And like, how do I make it the best dua? And so like tips for really making dua, incorporating, the 99 names of Allah, things of that nature. Some of the best times to make dua, even. There are certain times throughout the day and on different days of the week that are best to make dua and make supplication and stuff like that. So it kind of goes into that as well. It's really just a guiding tool. It's divided into different sections. So it talks through beliefs and worship, relationships, growth and success, health, like all these different categories of dua that sometimes we get overwhelmed and just be like, okay, I'm gonna just pray for the whole month. At this point, there's so many prayers that we can find. And I know like even right now during Ramadan, we're encouraged to make our dua list, and it can get really long and it can get like overwhelming to think of all these different things. But sometimes in Islam, what I've learned too over the years is like the best thing to do is make like even just more generalized prayers that kind of just encompass everything overall. And at the end of the day, we make prayers, but we also pray that whatever is best for us, whatever Allah wills, that's what He's gonna give us anyway. So sometimes it is just best to make those like more general prayers, but also get specific now. Let Him know the exact dollar amount, the exact date.
Nothing too big, nothing too small.
Nothing is too big for Him. So definitely get deep on that as well. But yeah, every page kind of has a specific surah or ayat from the Quran, and then it actually gives you journal prompts as well. So based off of that specific narration or that specific surah, it'll ask, okay, so what does this hadith mean to you? What does, how does this relate to your daily life? And, you get to list out what are 3 things that, you can actually express gratitude for. And then the last is what is one thing that you would like to ask for in your dua based off of, that surah, that hadith, or that ayat of the Quran. So I think being really reflective also on your duas and like really thinking. And sometimes we do make so many, requests and like prayers, and we forget to sit and be like, okay, what has He actually given me? Sometimes we like you're living in some of your past Ramadan prayers right now, and we forget that, and we're so quick to just have this whole list, but like He has given us so much. And so
or some things you didn't even think to pray about, and you have.
Sometimes
I think about it, like,
that you
I didn't even pray
needed
for this, and I got it.
And I needed it so
Like,
bad.
And you knew
Yeah.
I needed this.
So I think that's one of the beautiful things about this. This is my girl.
Love it.
And so yeah, highly, highly recommend. Even if it's not these exact, books or like
Similar
journals and things of that nature. I guess just like having that idea of, reflecting and like just like diving deeper into the why of what you're doing. I think it's really important. So may Allah make it easy for us. May He accept all of our du'as and all of our efforts to understand and get deeper into the Quran this Ramadan as well.
To also comment down below you guys' favorite surahs, also your favorite recommendations, whatever you guys want to let people know that you think has been super helpful for you. We also want to just learn and also
if you guys have any books or anything, like I want to go out and get it too, and just see what helps for one person might not help for the other, or what is useful for you might help somebody else. So we wanna share and just put each other on in this community.
So next episode, we'll talk more about the spiritual transformation and just keeping the Ramadan spirit alive and how to keep up your good habits even post this month. So
we're getting into the final stretch. I know it can get a little difficult to kind of just continue to push through and achieve all those goals you set at the very beginning of Ramadan, but the journey is not over. Keep making dua that Allah,
you can do it in Ramadan. I promise you can do it.
You can. We're in the final stretch. You guys got this. Continue to keep us in your prayers. We'll continue to keep you guys in our prayers as well. And we all continue to grow in faith together.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.